Hello, everybody. It is Friday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My name is Adam Bittner, assistant sports editor for multimedia at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, joined by Jason Mackey for our weekly appearance here on the Post-Gazette Pirates YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about Bubba Chandler. Jason made his Major League debut since we last spoke, has had a couple of appearances, has looked really good. A lot of people, including you, were saying that he should have been here when the season was salvageable. I think you tweeted that on Wednesday night. Is it that simple for you? Is it any more complicated, like the Pirates have attempted to make it throughout this season? Or does he just have it? Can you just see that he is a major league pitcher and has been for some time?
And that was my point in tweeting that, Adam. It got Pirates Twitter riled up and said, oh, well, the season was never salvageable. What do you mean March? Something like that. I mean, no, he should have been up here earlier in the season when things could have gone a different direction. He deserved to be up here, and he's showing us that. What he's showing us is that his performance in the minor leagues was because they didn't call him up here and he pouted or didn't handle it the right way or whatever. And I mean, we wasted time. We wasted time. This kid's ability is not the issue. It's how he's pitching and what he was challenged to do. You know, I think of it as parenting. Like if I'm not putting my sons in a position to be challenged, they're probably going to screw off. It's my job as one of their parents to make sure they are challenged. Bubba Chandler was not challenged in an appropriate way. And we're seeing right now when he's challenged, what he responds and does. That's all I was saying. I'm not saying that Bubba Chandler was going to trigger the pennant race or that, you know, my other favorite comeback was, well, he can't hit. What's it going to change? Maybe nothing. Maybe nothing. But he deserves to be up here. He deserved to be up here. I should say it that way. I don't know when you want to pick that spot. I mean, certainly by the end of May, I would have liked to have seen it earlier. And to me, it's just an honest assessment. I saw Bubba Chandler in spring training, and he did not look like this. I wouldn't have kept him with my team. Would have put him in AAA. He developed, and through basically, I don't know, mid-April was this way, and he should have been up here. Looks really good right now.
Was that teach him a lesson type of stuff then? If we're viewing those struggles in AAA that they used to justify keeping him down there, was that the Pirates saying, well, you know, we're in charge here and you're either going to get with the program or you're going to stay down in AAA? It was at some level of power struggle between them, because I think it's true that things would not be appreciably different if you had called him up. But if you didn't believe in Bailey Falter enough to not call him a leak out that you said he was a non-tender candidate to Noah at the trade deadline, if you really had that little belief in Bailey Falter taking up a rotation spot, if you knew that Andrew Heaney didn't have it to the point that you were going to be forced to DFA him without even being able to get any return, it's not as if they didn't have a spot for him. And I think that's the point of frustration for me, is that they could have found a spot if that's how they felt about those other guys.
100%. And I mean, look at how they're using him, Adam. I don't have any problem with the Braxton Ashcraft plan. You know, that's what I'm calling it. Like 3 or 4 innings out of the bullpen, non-traditional pitcher usage. Like I'll go with them there. I think that's actually a reasonably smart way to preserve innings and put a young pitcher in a position to succeed. You don't have to shut him down. Man, I'll get down with that. But like, don't look at this early season and tell me that you couldn't have found that opportunity. And I know that's exactly what you're saying. You know, whether it's coupling it with Bailey Falter, coupling it with Andrew Heaney, like you could have gone Falter 2 times through the order and finished the game with Bubba Chandler, and you built in a bullpen rest day. That's great. Reset everything in the middle of a series. Like that's just senseless. I mean, my argument forever will be with this team. You should have your best people here. Period. Was Bubba Chandler one of their best in spring training? He was not, but he became one of their best. Find a spot for him. I can go through the bullpen, you know, day by day if anybody really wants to in April and May. And I'm sure we could find a spot where we could have fit Bubba Chandler in the bullpen and, you know, like we're saying, piggyback him with Heaney or Falter or stretch it out to 6, give somebody an extra day. I don't care, man. Find a place for him.
And maybe you flip a few of these 1-run games and it's a different situation in the standings, and maybe you're at least close enough to the wild card race, which Joe Starkey's made the point in his column. It's a low bar to clear in baseball these days, to just be within a shouting distance. It wouldn't have taken that much, to your point, and I think to some of the points others have made. Jason, is there anyone else that you would put in that their best 26 that you want to see here in September? Anyone that you think belongs here that isn't yet here? The September call-ups are coming. We've been talking about names like Hunter Barco, Nick Yorke, Cam Devaney. Do any of them rise to that level for you, or do you still have questions about them?
I'm not as eager to see Cam Devaney, however you say it. If they brought him up, I wouldn't complain. Fine, he's got a track record of doing some things and getting close. I suppose I'm intrigued by Nick Yorke because he has been up here and he has improved this season and he's hitting pretty well recently. Hunter Barco, somebody I think we will see. I think he'll deserve an opportunity. I mean, honestly, Adam, all three of those guys will probably see at some point between now and the end of the season. It's a double-edged sword for me. And here's how I'll say it. I would be encouraged by their progress, but because it's the Pirates, I would also worry about how much they might read into it, whether they might see 2-3 good weeks from Nick Yorke and think that that's enough, that they don't have to go buy, an extra outfielder because Nick Yorke performed well at the end of the season. No, no. I know how I feel about this team, and I'm willing to live with certain things if I can get others. I want 2 bats totaling about $25 million. They probably have 3 holes they need to fill. And if you're going to tell me Jared Triolo plays shortstop, but you've got a $12.5 million bat at third and a $12.5 million bat in left field, I can live with that. What I don't want to see them do is see one of those 2 guys coming up here, Devaney or Yorke, and think that, that solves the problem. They had a couple of good weeks. They're good. No, I don't want to see that.
Well, and if they believe that, then they should have been here a while ago.
Yeah.
And so you can't not promote these guys, not just this year, but go back to last year when you brought them in at the trade deadline, some of them, and you didn't bring them up in Nick Yorke's case. You can't then turn around and say, oh yeah, he's the guy. He won the job because he hit 360 in the last, month of the season. I'm not buying that. And I don't think anyone should either. Jason, we're going to talk a little bit about Henry Davis, Andrew Heaney's DFA, and your Paul Skenes column on the other side. Before we do, though, we want to pass along a message from our friends at Greenewalt Roofing.
Hey, Pittsburgh. When you think of great roofs, you think Greenewalt Roofing Company. With over 20 years' experience, Greenewalt knows your roof is your home's first line of defense from rain, wind, snow, and ice. That's why Greenewalt Roofing's standard for perfection is so important. You can trust that their team of experienced installers will treat your property like it's their own. When it comes to roof replacements, Greenewalt Roofing is Pittsburgh's only choice. Visit greenewaltroofing.com today or call 412-314-8882 to schedule your free estimate. PA contractor number 36262.
We are back on the PG Pirates show. I'm Adam Bittner. He's Jason Mackey. Jason, I saw on the X machine, Twitter, whatever we're calling it these days, that the Pirates have a winning record when Henry Davis catches.
Mm-hmm.
He personally, as we're recording this, is still hitting 174, which is not nearly good enough. I don't think you can necessarily justify saying he's the unquestioned starter at catcher when his offensive numbers look like that. However, it's kind of hard to ignore those results, isn't it? Or is it just a coincidence that he has caught when they've won games?
It's a little bit of a coincidence. He has the best catcher's ERA, I believe, since like 1992. That stat was at least as current as about last week. I mean, part of that's because he's catching Paul Skenes. Part of that's because Henry's become a pretty good defensive catcher. I think the one you're bringing up about the win-loss record, I mean, it's not nothing, but I can't trick myself into believing that the offense has been good enough. I mean, there's just he's a 1-1 pick who was supposed to be a very good bat. And I believe he's a sub 600 career OPS guy, maybe sub 550. I'm going off memory, but I got to see more. And I'm not moving Henry out because I want him to be my catcher. I'm going to give him every opportunity to do it. But I can't, I just need more offense. I don't know any other way to say it. I'm going to give you the opportunity to show me, but I can't take 170. I need 230 at least from that position in that spot.
Was his focus or the organization's focus or both too much on the defense? Because that was the biggest question when they drafted him. Is he going to be capable of catching? It was so much so that when he first came up, they moved him to right field because there were so many doubts about him behind the plate. To his credit, he has vastly improved in that realm. did that come at the expense of the offense? And do you have hope that if they go into this offseason and say, all right, we're getting in the cage every single day for the next 6 months, and we're going to figure out how to get you to hit, that with the defensive part hopefully solved in their mind, that they can get the bat to where maybe he's never going to be the 1-1 bats that we were expecting, but he can at least hit his weight.
He hasn't hit, and he should be criticized for it, but I don't think it's from, a lack of concern or like the organization, has been laissez-faire or something with that. I mean, he's gone to drive line. They've messed with his swing probably more than they ever should. I think he thinks entirely too much about it. I think he puts too much stock in it. I also think they screwed up his position switch. Like, they shouldn't have tried what they did. I thought it was an unfair move to Henry, and I thought they stuck with it for way too long. But I've also, I know Henry pretty well. Like, I don't think that one bled into the other all that much. Like, he was not a good right fielder, but he hasn't struggled at the plate because he was not a good right fielder. That's a whole bunch of words to say that, like, I still think it's in there. I think he's working to bring it out. I think we're seeing progress, Adam. I do. Like, look at some of the at-bats in the St. Louis series. He's seeing a lot of pitches. And Henry is a guy I'm okay with seeing a lot of pitches. He knows what he's doing. He knows the zone. Injuries have played a part. His own swing decisions. He's had a long swing throughout his career. I've said this before, but he's learned how to harness that a little bit better. So I think it's getting there. I don't think it's, a lack of effort or lack of, and I know that's not what you're saying. I just, maybe that's a narrative out there that they've kind of let things slip. I don't think that's it.
Andrew Heaney gets quickly DFA'd after his meltdown in the Cardinals series earlier this week. I'm not going to look backward on that deal and everything that happened. I think that's been litigated enough. Looking forward, Jason, has this organization at least grown to the point that you don't need a guy like him next season, that you have enough homegrown arms that you want to see, going back to that conversation about Bubba Chandler, Hunter Barco, Braxton Ashcraft, all these guys we can throw out there as young pitchers? Have they grown beyond having to put $4, $5, $6 million into this type of person when you have so much of a need offensively and you have to stretch your dollars as far as you can? Because I don't want to see another guy like that next year. I'd rather see them sink or swim, even if it doesn't work out with their own guys. I'd rather see them sink or swim completely with those homegrown arms. Yeah,
I mean, I get you. I don't think that's a bad take. I guess I would see that and raise you Jose Quintana and Tyler Anderson, though. Like, we're saying this because Andrew Heaney wasn't good, right? Like, if they were producing previous results, which this regime has also gotten, maybe that helps. But I mean, I understand wanting to stick with their own guys. I like having a lefty in my rotation. Maybe I'm a little bit too old school that way. I don't know. So, I mean, if they found somebody that they could rehab and help for $3 million, I'm cool with it, especially when you're going to have young guys and you're trying to watch their innings a little bit. But I wouldn't force it. And you have to take care of the offense first. And I guess to put that in an answer that makes sense, like, check the boxes that I outlined before. They also need bullpen help. So you need 2 bats and bullpen arms. And then if you can get a third thing where that's that veteran lefty starter, cool. But yeah, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. I'm fine with a lot of their current arms if that's what it ends up being.
Jason, you wrote about Paul Skenes and the Cy Young this week. What do you think that conversation is? Is it obvious that he should win? Should we have a conversation about his win-loss record? As has been the baseball writer. Baseball writers have been caught up on that for a long time. So I just am curious your thoughts on his chances and knowing the history of guys in his position with that award.
Here should be the conversation, Adam. Hey, Paul, here's the Cy Young. Here you go. Can you give us a speech? That should be the conversation. Last year, I was a Cy Young voter. I don't know if I'm a Cy Young voter this year. If I am a Cy Young voter, I can tell you that it's not going to take me very long to fill out my ballot. I'm not looking at wins and losses. The game has changed. I can look at every other peripheral stat. And if you look at that stuff, Adam, it's not a competition. It's not. He's having one of the best pitching seasons aside from a win-loss record in more than a decade. I went back looking at, I identified, this doesn't make me right, but this is the gist of the column. I went back and identified some stats that I find valuable, or if I can get a bunch of them, I get some interesting data points. Wins above replacement with Fangraphs, ERA, strikeouts. I don't know. I forget off the top of my head what, like 6 of them. And I looked at where Skenes ranked and compared that to other recent rankings. And nobody has been top 2 across the board since Clayton Kershaw in 2013, I believe it was. And I mean, that's what Skenes is at. He could be leading the National League in 4 of those 6 categories, Zach Wheeler going down. I mean, to me, it's not whether he should win it. It's how impressive of a single season pitching performance this is. It's really good.
I agree, Jason. So we will certainly keep an eye on that one. It might be the most exciting baseball topic we get all year, is whether he wins the Cy Young, whether that's the one validation Pirates fans get after this disaster of a season. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm sure there'll be a lot more talk about that, a lot more talk about all these topics we hit today. Subscribe to the channel for what Noah and Colin are doing as well. And like this video if you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, help us out in the YouTube algorithm. We will talk to you again right here next week.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.